trenches. It's time for Renegades of Puck TV. Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the essence of No Half Steppin'. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier, and before we get started with the No Half Steppin' playoff hockey coverage, let me first direct you to renegadesofpuck.com. Once you are at our home website, you will find out all of the information you need to know about the Renegades of Puck, and once you click on that merchandise link, you will get to see the classic logo t-shirt. You'll see our Pride logo t-shirts, all of our special events t-shirts that we've had from over the years, and of course, all the great gimmicks that you've come to know and love the Renegades of Puck for. Socks, throw pillows, wall art, it doesn't matter. We've sold out, so you can buy in. Everything you purchase from the Renegades of Puck, all profit goes directly to the Renegades of Puck. It is critically important, and we sure could use your help during this time of playoff madness on social media. If you would please give us a subscription to YouTube. Now, we have done a great job in our first season of operation building from 0 to over 130 subscribers, but there are room in the trenches for plenty more Renegades. So please, subscribe and let the Renegades in your life know about the Renegades of Puck. Once you see those brand new episodes of Renegades of Puck TV that are posted, take that link and share that on your Facebook page. Now listen, if you're not into Facebook anymore and that's not your preferred method, then share the link on Twitter or give us a retweet or interact with all the Renegades of Puck on Twitter at Renegades of Puck. You can also find us on Instagram, and we release new and exclusive content on all of our different social media platforms, so please give us a follow on all of those. And at this time, I am very proud to announce that our audio podcast, thanks to Broken Controller Media, has gone to Megaphone and will be found exclusively on Megaphone from now on, beginning with the playoffs. We really need your support, Renegades, in building this new endeavor. The radio show lasted for over 10 years, and the audio podcast has been in such high demand that we have had to reach out to get national representation for the podcast, The Renegades of Puck. So please make sure in the coming days and weeks you are checking out the audio version of the podcast over on Megaphone. And thank you so much, Stick Taps, love and respect, to Broken Controller Media and Justin for being able to go out there and jump in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck. You can also find the Renegades of Puck behind-the-scenes live stream on Twitch. If there are F-bombs, second takes, or mistakes, that's exactly where you are going to find them. You also get access to the information first, and it's a highly interactive presentation. I call it the plug-to-plug broadcast because no one else in the business can do it. I show you how I set up the studio and plug in the lights, set up the equipment, engineer the show, and then we sit down, we rehearse, we go through a full recording of Renegades of Puck TV, and we even have some cross-talk back and forth because it's fully interactive. So I can look down at the chat right now and say thank you, Stick Taps, love and respect to Milo for yet again being the international correspondent and one of the best viewers of Renegades of Puck TV. So that's happening on Twitch. It's not pretty, it's real broadcasting, and I want you to get a chance to see just how we do it here in the trenches for the Renegades of Puck. Now, you can become a partner of the Renegades of Puck just simply by going to Venmo and searching Renegades of Puck, or you can scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. Every dollar donated to the Renegades of Puck goes directly to the Renegades of Puck and goes directly to helping us make improvements here, not only in the bunker, but overall with our ambitious plans for the summer of No Half Steppin'. Thank you so much in advance for any donation. Even the smallest donations go a long way to help with the Renegades of Puck. Now, again, I know you're here for the No Half Steppin' hockey coverage, so it's in fact time for me to deliver the goods, as frankly, only I can. It's operation number 646 for the Renegades Puck. That's right, show number 646. And with the regular season concluded, it is time to start talking about the National Hockey League playoffs. For the local National Hockey League team, the Nashville Predators, they wrapped up the season in 5th place in the Central Division. After 82 games, they had a record of 45-30-7, 97 points. On the road, where they will start their best-of-7 series, they had a record of 20-16-5, a goal differential of plus 14, but it breaks down as 266 for and 252 against. They secured the wild card 2 slot in the final moments of the regular season by blowing the first ever franchise 4-goal lead and also falling for the first time this season after leading after 2 periods. The Nashville Predators find themselves in the wild card 2 position and will take on the number 1 seed Colorado Avalanche in the Western Conference first round best-of-7 playoff series. The Colorado Avalanche had a record of 56-19-7, 119 points, and overall ran away with the Central Division this season. A home record of 32-5-4, a goal differential of plus 78 that breaks down to 312 goals for and 234 goals against. Now, before I get fully into this matchup and fully engaged in Game 1 and this preview, let's tell you about the rest of the National Hockey League playoff bracket. Since we're starting off in the Western Conference, and I've told you about the Nashville Predators and the Colorado Avalanche, let me tell you that Game 1 of that series will take place on Tuesday night, 8:30 Central Time in Denver. Then Thursday night will be Game 2, also in Denver, also 8:30 Central Time. Bridgestone Arena will host Game 3 at 3:30 Central Time on Saturday afternoon, and Monday evening, 8:30 Central Time, will be the puck drop for Game 4 between the Preds and the Colorado Avalanche. Looking at the rest of the Western Conference, we'll get an opportunity to see St. Louis at Minnesota on Monday, and then that series will resume on Wednesday. We'll get the beginning of the Dallas and Calgary series in Calgary on Tuesday night, and then we will see LA at Edmonton also beginning the series on Monday evening in Game 1, and then following a Wednesday, Friday, Sunday trajectory. Looking over in the Eastern Conference, you will see the number 1 seed Florida Panthers hosting the Washington Capitals. That series will begin on Tuesday and will take a path of Thursday, Saturday, and Monday through the first 4 games. Tampa Bay will be facing off against the Toronto Maple Leafs, so the Bolts will be taking on the Leafs in Toronto, and that will take place on Monday night. They will play Game 2 on Wednesday, Game 3 on Friday, Game 4 on Sunday. Boston and Carolina, you talk about a rivalry that goes back long before the Carolina Hurricanes ever existed, and they were the Hartford Whalers. The Boston Bruins will be in Carolina on Monday night to start that series, and then Carolina will go into Boston on Friday night and also Sunday for Game 4. The New York Rangers will be taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins again, another series with some traditional rivalry and deep heat. The Penguins will be at Madison Square Garden to take on the Rangers in Game 1 on Tuesday night, and they will follow a Thursday, Saturday, Monday trajectory, the same exact schedule as the Nashville Predators. I think it's going to be a very intense first round, as it always is when it comes to the NHL playoffs, but I see some very intriguing and some very exciting matchups. Now, I was hoping for a Nashville Predators Calgary Flames matchup just because of the way the two teams are built and the way the two teams ended up playing against each other in the regular season, but I see a lot of interesting matchups here between these division rivals. St. Louis will be taking on Minnesota. I think LA and Edmonton is going to be a very good series. Tampa Bay and Toronto could be the best series of the first round. Boston, Carolina, Pittsburgh, New York Rangers. There are some highly interesting first round playoff matchups, and the Nashville Predators will be taking on the Colorado Avalanche, the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. So let's focus now on Game 1 of that series. And when it comes to the season series between these two division rivals from the Central, we go back to the 27th of November when the Nashville Predators fell in Denver, Colorado, 6-2. Dave Riddick got the start in that game, as he is anticipated to get the start in Game 1. He went 29 out of 35, taking the loss. Rantanen with 3 goals and assists for 4 points, and Cale Makar with 3 assists in that game. But the Nashville Predators on December the 16th would face off against the Colorado Avalanche on home ice at Bridgestone Arena and would secure a 5-2 victory. UC Saros, 24 out of 26, picks up the victory. Forsberg, 2 goals and an assist for 3 points. Colton Sissons with 3 assists in that game. On the 11th of January, the Nashville Predators hosted the Colorado Avalanche again and secured a 5-4 victory in overtime. UC Saros again picking up the victory, 40 saves and 44 opportunities. Matt Duchene, 2 goals. The captain, Roman Josi, 3 assists. Darcy Kemper took the loss for the Avs, 27 out of 32. And most recently, a game that we can recall because it was just on April the 28th, the Nashville Predators went into Denver, Colorado and secured another 5-4 victory. This time it took place in the shootout. Dave Riddick got the victory, 42 out of 46, battling for his career and battling for the starting position as the Nashville Predators are without UC Saros going into round 1. Roman Josi, a goal and assist in that game. Matthias Ekholm also a goal and assist. Kemper took the loss again against the Nashville Predators, 33 out of 37. Now, for the Nashville Predators, you may find it quite surprising that the Colorado Avalanche, who only had 19 losses on the entire season, had 3 of those losses against the Nashville Predators. So the Preds went 3-1 against the Colorado Avalanche and outscored the Colorado Avalanche 17-16 in the regular season matchup. UC Saros is going to be out for the first round and possibly longer if the Nashville Predators season can continue because of a high ankle sprain. Jeremy Lauzon was on the end of the season road trip and was participating in the morning skate. No determination yet if he is going to be available for Game 1, but it is certainly a good sign for the defense core that he is getting healthy. Matthias Ekholm was held out in the final regular season game, is listed as day-to-day, but we were told multiple times that it was just for maintenance. Taking a look inside the matchup between the Nashville Predators and the Colorado Avalanche when it comes to their regular season statistics and rankings, well, the Colorado Avalanche had a very impressive season. 4th overall in goals for 3.76, while the Nashville Predators at 3.20 finished 12th overall in the NHL. The Colorado Avalanche only give up 2.83 goals per game. That is 9th best in the league, while the Preds give up 3.05, and that number just continued climbing the last month of the season, finishing them at 17th overall in the league. Shots for Colorado generates a lot of them on net. They're 4th best in the league with 35 per game, while the Preds are 24th in the league with 29.7 per game. Now, shots against the Colorado Avalanche do give up quite a bit, 32 per game. That's 19th in the league, and the Nashville Predators give up 32.3. That is 20th in the league, so the two teams are very comparable in this department. Also, when it comes to special teams, the two teams are comparable when it comes to the power play. The Preds converting at 24.4% on the season, 63 out of 258 times. That is the 6th-rated power play from the entirety of the regular season. The Colorado Avalanche are just one step behind them at 7th, converting at 24% and 67 out of 279 opportunities. On the penalty kill, we see the metric for the Colorado Avalanche favors them. 48 power play goals against this season, 79.7% kill rate, while the Preds have given up 59 power play goals against. And you know we have talked about and chronicled all season long how they have been shorthanded just a dramatic amount of times. And the penalty kill really sunk towards the end of the season, 18th in the NHL here at the close of the season. For the Colorado Avalanche, though, at the end of the regular season, for as impressive as they were, they did not finish the season as good as most people would expect. As a matter of fact, they lost 6 out of their last 7, and let me just go through the last couple of games of the season just so you can get a flavor for the competition they were going up against. Now, the division was well secured, and this team knew that they were going to be the number 1 seed in the Western Conference for quite some time. The President's Trophy didn't seem to be a very big deal to this Avs team, but let me take you through a couple of these games. On the 22nd of April, it was a 6-3 loss to the Edmonton Oilers. On the 24th, a 4-1 loss at the Winnipeg Jets. On the 26th, a 5-3 win versus the St. Louis Blues. On the 28th, a 5-4 shootout loss versus the Nashville Predators, as we just went through. And on the 29th, wrapping up their regular season, was a 4-1 loss at the Minnesota Wild. So for the Colorado Avalanche, they are not playing as hot a hockey as they did for the majority of the season. Again, that could be as simple as they had things wrapped up, they were getting bored, and they just weren't bringing the effort, the jam each and every night. Now, this could catch a team going into Game 1, Game 2, a little bit flat-footed, a little bit on their heels. The Nashville Predators have been fighting for their playoff life for quite some time in the grinder that is the middle card of the Central Division. So for the Nashville Predators, it is simple. You have to bring the jam. You have to be as highly focused as you possibly can, and you have to play as a team out there. It doesn't matter who the goaltender is. If the Nashville Predators defense and the Nashville Predators forwards don't contribute in each and every way, giving all they can every shift, then it doesn't even matter what the seedings are. No team is going to win at this time of year unless they are firing on all cylinders. This physical-natured Nashville Predators identity can impose its will, and with 240 goal scorers and the Norris Trophy winner on the team, the Nashville Predators should be able to compete against the Colorado Avalanche. The Colorado Avalanche have all of the expectations on their shoulders going into this playoffs and are presumed to not only have a first-round bye against the Nashville Predators, but are easily expected to go to the Stanley Cup final to face off against probably the Tampa Bay Lightning again. At least that's what people are already starting to say and speculate. You cannot take any team lightly. No, this is not the 2017 Nashville Predators team, but it is eerily similar how they found themselves giving away a critical point in the last game of the season to find themselves in the matchup against the best team in the Western Conference. Huge difference. Pekka Rinne was healthy and ready to go against the Chicago Blackhawks. The Nashville Predators have a huge question mark in goal coming up against the Colorado Avalanche. But they should be able to compete, and this is a highly, highly interesting matchup for the Nashville Predators. They wanted the Calgary Flames, or at least that's what they talked about an awful lot, but after blowing a 4-goal lead against the Arizona Coyotes, they're lucky just to be in the playoffs at this point in time. It's a good thing they already had that spot clinched. Now, clean slate, moving forward. Anything can happen in the playoffs. The point of the 82-game regular season is simply to qualify for the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now, anything can happen. Someone is going to shock the world and go on a run. someone else is going to far underperform their expectations and find themselves out of the playoffs early. Is the Nashville Predators and the Colorado Avalanche that series in the first round this year? We'll find out, and we'll track it all right here on Renegades of Puck TV. I want to tell you about our incredible partner, REBIRTH Sports. They are simply the best. They're not just jersey makers, they're hockey tailors, and you can check out their work at rebirthsports.com or go to social media and give them a follow, give them a like, Facebook, Instagram, and also Twitter. Everywhere I go, everywhere I skate, people want to know, where did I get those threads? And it's REBIRTH Sports. They take visions and make them reality, and they are incredible partners to the Renegades of Puck. You see me right now wearing the Renegades of Puck road jersey because the Nashville Predators will be starting Game 1 in Denver, Colorado. You also see me wearing the home jersey, the third jersey, and all of the other jerseys that I have gotten over the years from REBIRTH Sports, whether it's in league play here in Middle Tennessee for the Mighty Drunks as I'm winning Stanley Keg after Stanley Keg, or if it's skating in charity events like the Wish Cup, and even sometimes skating for the United States Pond Hockey Championships on Lake Nokomis in Minnesota, as I did in the year 2018. What a great joy that was. REBIRTH Sports is also a great joy. They are incredible partners, they're incredible people, and I am so excited to continue our partnership going on into the postseason. Please give them some stick taps, love, and respect, and expect to see a lot of Renegades posting about their brand new threads in the coming days. Stick taps, love, and respect to Doug and everyone at the crew at REBIRTH Sports. He's the starting goaltender of the Renegades of Puck, and if it happens between the pipes, it's well within his domain. He took a look back at the season on the last episode, and now he's taking a look forward at the Nashville Predators versus the Colorado Avalanche and what they are going to do in net. Connor Ingram looked frustrated, looked a little bit nervous, and it was a bit of a concerning performance against the Arizona Coyotes, while Big Save Dave Riddick was fighting for his career and fighting for the job as the Nashville Predators starting goaltender. John Hines, I anticipate, is going to go with the veteran goaltender that has been on the roster for the majority of the season. We will see how things go after Game 1, but Nostradamus is here to break it down for me right now and tell you everything you need to know about the goaltending situation in this first-round playoff matchup. You can find him on Twitter at GreekGoalie35. You can watch him right now on Renegades of Puck TV.
Thank you very much, Charlie. The time has finally arrived for the Nashville Predators and the Colorado Avalanche to renew their acquaintances in the playoffs. The first time in a few seasons, of course, when Nashville beat Colorado in 6 games back in 2018. The goaltending matchup very different this time around, as of course the Colorado Avalanche have Darcy Kuemper, who has been around the league for a little while and has shown a little bit of success in the playoffs. Of course, as we remember in the bubble back in 2020 against the Nashville Predators, absolutely robbing them a couple times in that short series. The Preds counter with David Riddick, of course, replacing the injured UC Saros. Riddick, without a shadow of a doubt, proved that he is worthy of being in the starter's crease after his performance this past week against Colorado, getting the victory in the shootout up in Colorado, one of the rare times Colorado's lost on home ice. Now, I know David Riddick has been much maligned this season with his performances. Overall, look, he's a backup goaltender. We know what he is. Take it for what it's worth. He only lost 3 regulation games this season. I know he didn't play a whole lot, but he was getting the Nashville Predators points when they needed it, and as we saw, as we came down to the final stretch of the season, the Preds needed every point they got to make it into the postseason. Now, there's no doubt at this point the advantage goes to Darcy Kuemper. He's had a fantastic season with the Colorado Avalanche, 37 victories on the season. Great job by him, again, in front of a team that historically has not been great defensively. Yes, they've gotten some acquisitions on the blue line, but this is an up-and-down offensive attack team that doesn't play a whole lot of defense historically, but he has been very good in net this season, and without a shadow of a doubt has earned the starter's crease. They acquired him last season from Arizona, and he's done very well with his opportunity. And again, Colorado, the best team in the West. Here's Darcy Kuemper, not that proven in the playoffs, but all the pressure is on Darcy Kuemper and the Colorado Avalanche in this series. The Preds can go in just like they did in 2017. There's no pressure at all on them. Go out there. Maybe you steal a game out in Colorado, which again, incredibly difficult place to win, especially this season. But if they get a split up in Colorado, suddenly the pressure immediately turns to the Avalanche and how they counter down in Nashville. I'm going to talk about a couple other series that are going on around the NHL. First, on Monday, all eyes of North America are going to be on this series. That is the Tampa Bay Lightning, the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning, facing the Toronto Maple Leafs. Everybody in Canada wanting Toronto, of course, to finally get off the schneid, get past the first round, and see what they can do with this talented team that they have. They have not been able to do so regardless of the talent they've put together. First round playoff matchup against the two-time defending champs. If there's ever a time for Toronto to make a stand and prove that this team is different than it has in years past, this would be the team to do it against. Now, between the pipes, Jack Campbell, very highly touted prospect in 2010. Matter of fact, he was the 11th overall pick of the Dallas Stars back in 2010 and never really got around to having any consistent playing time until 2018, 2019. He finally got his opportunity. He was backing up Jonathan Quick up in Los Angeles, gets traded to Toronto. Toronto gives him an opportunity, and he's been absolutely lights out the past couple of seasons. So he's been great for them, finally solving a goaltender issue that Toronto's had for many, many years, but very much unproven in the playoffs. So Jack Campbell, highly touted, all the talent in the world, all of that ability, going against the proven commodity of Andrei Vasilevsky, two-time Stanley Cup champion, one-time Conn Smythe Trophy winner, four-time Vezina Trophy finalist. Obviously, the advantage goes to the Tampa Bay Lightning with experience and the pedigree of what they've built down in Tampa Bay. Toronto, again, has the talent to pull this off. Just before Tampa Bay won those two Stanley Cups, remember, they were the top seed, President's Trophy winning team, broke all kinds of records that year, and faced a very game Columbus Blue Jackets team 3 years ago, who I said has the talent on paper to compete with them. And lo and behold, Columbus just swept Tampa Bay out of the playoffs. They have not lost a playoff series since that embarrassment back in 2019. The other matchup I'm looking at very closely on Tuesday, just before the Preds and Avalanche drop the puck, is the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the New York Rangers. Pittsburgh, of course, all the pedigree, all the Stanley Cup playoff history, with Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin winning a couple Stanley Cups in 2016 and 2017, versus the New York Rangers. Haven't won one since 1994. That is well documented, of course. Goaltending matchup in this one, Tristan Jarry, of course, injured for the Pittsburgh Penguins, so they're also going with a backup goaltender in Casey DeSmith. Now, although DeSmith is a backup, he's done very well for himself this season when he has played. .914 save percentage, 2.79 goals against. Goals against, you'd like to have a little bit less than that, but these are two of the 5 stingiest teams to score against. Rangers second defensively in goals against, Penguins fifth defensively in goals against overall, but it's all about Igor Shesterkin. This is a man that hands down is winning the Vezina Trophy this season and is likely going to get top 5 billing for MVP for this 2021-2022 season. He's been absolutely lights out for the New York Rangers. We talk about UC Saros all the time, stealing games. Shesterkin has stolen just about as many games as UC Saros has. He's been magnificent in net, and that is a man that, if the Penguins do not find a way to solve, are not going anywhere. The Rangers have owned the Penguins this season, especially over the last month. They beat them 3 times in a matter of 2 weeks in March. So New York Rangers versus Pittsburgh Penguins is what I'm looking at. Casey DeSmith, backup goalie. We've seen this before from Pittsburgh, though. You had Marc-Andre Fleury. Well, then you had Matt Murray replace him, and they go on a Stanley Cup run. Matt Murray gets hurt. Tristan Jarry comes in, and he makes some noise in the playoffs. Now, is it Casey DeSmith's turn to make noise also for the Pittsburgh Penguins against the best goaltender in the National Hockey League in Igor Shesterkin? Time will tell. It's May. It is the best time of year for hockey fans. Let's get to it. Charlie, back to you.
Want to tell you about another great partner of the show, Strong Style Fitness. Over 150 workouts now by a certified personal trainer, completely on demand and donation based for you on YouTube. That means they are completely free for you, Renegades of Puck. So please reach out to Strong Style Fitness and send some love their way. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook is how you can do that. You can check out the website, strongstylefit.com. There'll be new videos coming soon, but for now, the entire library of Strong Style Fitness is completely free for you, Renegades. So if it is your first stretch or you're throwing iron like a pro, get on off the couch and get yourselves moving, get yourselves motivated, and get yourselves healthy and happy with Strong Style Fitness. Again, stick taps, love, and respect to Strong Style Fit for jumping in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck this entire season. Sean C. Smith now joins us here on the show. You can find his work on theforecheck.com. You can also find him on Twitter at SCSOTF. He's got the intel that you need to know, and after a week of deep assignment behind enemy lines, he is back in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck with all the intel that you need to know on the Colorado Avalanche and the Nashville Preds in round one.
Thanks, Charlie. Hey, Renegades, it's Sean C. Smith, and let's talk about the playoffs. The Predators have finally discovered that they will be playing the Colorado Avalanche. Now, I know for a long time it seemed like it was going to be the Calgary Flames, and I think for a long time a lot of people out there in Preds land were very excited about this matchup. And I'm going to tell you the reason was because it promised to be a very physical, explosive series. And the reason for that is because if you look at those last two games between the teams of the Predators and the Flames did not back down from any of the physicality that the Predators were willing to bring to the table. And while that probably seems like it would be ideal because, oh, hey, it's going to be a very aggressive physical matchup, the fact of the matter is that when you have a physical team like the Predators against a physical team like the Flames, it seems like that physicality cancels each other out because you'll see both teams take penalties, both teams lose players, and you're not really going to get an advantage. And I'll say this because if you take a team like the Preds, and they've been physical all year, and put them against a team that's been physical all year, it's just the style of play they're used to. The Predators can elevate their game when they play their style of game. And when you have a team that's willing to engage in that style of play, that also elevates their game. And so while it may be exciting, it might also lead to some results you don't want to see. Now, I want to talk about the Avalanche. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you and try to say, look, no, it's a lot better that the Predators are up against the Avalanche, because I'm not going to take anything away from the Avalanche. They're an incredible team. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the league, and realistically, they've got a great shot to win the Stanley Cup. But I'm going to say this, and this is where we have to be realistic. If you preferred the Flames over the Avalanche, I would have to say that I think you may have been mistaken. I'm going to tell you why. The thing about the Avalanche, and if you really look back at the games the Predators played against them, it's very easy to get under their skin. And you think about guys who are really, really good at getting under another team's skin, like Nick Cousins, Mark Borowiecki, Tanner Jeannot, guys that are willing to throw their body around, don't back down from challenges, and are there to agitate. You know, those are the guys that it takes to get guys on teams like the Flames riled up. But the Avalanche, they got mad at Mattias Ekholm. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Mattias Ekholm's not a physical player, he's not an aggressive player, because he is. But the reality is that if they're getting that angry and thrown off their game at Mattias Ekholm, imagine what it's going to be like playing against the rest of the Predators every night for a minimum of 4 games. You think about the way the Predators have styled their game throughout the year. And it's been no secret. I've talked about it a lot on this show and a lot of other shows. The Predators' whole goal throughout their entire game plan is to do everything they can from the beginning of the game all the way through the end to finish every check and make their opponent fight for every inch of ice that they gain. I feel like I've said that like a broken record over and over all season long. But the fun thing here is that while that definitely applies over the course of one game, now you're looking at a series where if the Predators play the right way, the way they've been playing, and they start wearing down the Avalanche, and even if maybe in game 1 they don't wear them down enough to really break things open, and maybe in game 2 they don't really wear them down enough to break things open, you get a game 3, you get a game 4, and night after night of playing against the Predators, and if they continue to be hard charging and physical and in your face and to do all of those things all night long, finishing every check, making sure that if there is a puck they can battle for, they will battle for that puck and not backing down from any challenge that they would face from the Avalanche, that team's going to get worn down and they're going to get thrown off their game. I'm not sitting here and guaranteeing a win. That's insanity. No one should ever guarantee a win like that. But I'm going to say that the Predators' style of game, and I've said this from the start of the season, is playoff style hockey. They're used to playing at the level they need to play at to play playoff-style hockey because they've been doing it for 82 games. They were made for the postseason. The Avalanche have been playing a high-octane offense, and that's also very good for the postseason. But what happens when that high-octane offense runs into a buzzsaw? It's going to get worn down. When things don't come as easily for them, when they're not able to gain the zone or get through the neutral zone as quickly as they'd like to, or have to actually be forced to dump the puck in and chase after it instead of just cleanly entering, the team's going to get tired. And when that team gets tired and you've got guys like Nick Cousins and Tanner Jeannot and Mark Borowiecki grinding them down, getting under their skin. Nick Cousins is the hockey dermatologist, right? Things are going to get a little dicey. Things are going to get a little spicy out there. And the Avalanche, while they do have some guys that are willing to bang, they're not cut out for the type of physical game that the Predators play. If the Avalanche are going to win, they're going to have to go through the Predators to do it. And just the same, if the Predators are going to win, they're going to have to stop the Avalanche from winning. And that's what it's really going to come down to. If you have a high-speed, high-scoring team playing against a team that can score a lot but wears you down, they're going to have to catch the Avalanche and they're going to have to grind them down over the course of 2 or 3 games to really start to see things open up to where they can go out and kind of do what they need to do on the ice. I want to see this series go for a while. I want to see the Avalanche get worn down. And if the Predators can't beat them, I want to see the Avalanche limp into the second round. Charlie, that's about the best playoff preview I can give you. And that's about what I would expect the Predators to do when that puck drops for Game 1. I'm going to send it back over to you.
I'll tell you about one more partner of the show, and that is Stripe Digital Solutions. Could not have pulled it off this season without the assistance of Stripe Digital Solutions. You can find Stripe Digital Solutions' website, stripedigitalsolutions.com, or on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The logo on the wall behind me, the crest on the jersey, the t-shirts, the website, renegadesofpuck.com, our social media, brand building, all of these things, our advertising, all of these things are being assisted and being overseen by Stripe Digital Solutions. In the modern business world, there are so many different things that you need to keep your eye on and pay attention to that it is almost impossible not to let a couple of things fall through the cracks. That's where incredible people and partners like Stripe Digital Solutions come in. So please check out what Brandy can do to help you out today. I have seen the results right here in the bunker and in the trenches. She's doing a tremendous job of helping us grow and get to where we need to go. If you're doing the work and you're putting in the time, make sure you have the right partner to help you get where you want to go and get your business seen today. Again, that's Stripe Digital Solutions. Now, every NHL team is full of incredibly high-skilled individuals, and these two teams certainly have plenty of examples of that. So going into this best-of-7 playoff series, let's go back and take a look at the stats for the regular season. When it comes to the Colorado Avalanche, Rantanen led the team in scoring overall with 36 goals and 56 assists for 92 points. Nathan MacKinnon at 32 goals and 56 assists for 88 points. Kadri, 28 and 59 for 87. Cale Makar, 28 and 58 for 86. And Burakovsky, 22 and 39 for 61. Don't forget about Landeskog with 30 goals on the season, plus 29 assists for 59 points. Looking over on the other side of the ledger at the Nashville Predators, the captain Roman Josi led the Nashville Predators in scoring this season and put up a historic season for a Nashville Predators defenseman. When you are mentioned with the names of Coffey or Leach, Housley, you have put up a very special offensive season, and the captain Roman Josi has just done that. 23 goals and 73 assists for 96 points, a new Nashville Predators single-season franchise record. Matt Duchene, 43 goals, is also a single-season franchise record, 43 assists for 86 points. Philip Forsberg had 42 goals and 42 assists for 84 points on the season. Mikhail Granlund, 11 goals and 53 assists for 64 points. Ryan Johansson finishes with 26 goals and 37 assists for an impressive 63 points on the year. And Tanner Jeannot, 24 goals and 17 assists for 41 points. He did slump late in the season, but still broke the Nashville Predators regular season record for hits in a season and had a highly impressive rookie campaign. Brian Baston's going to take you through the rest of the numbers and get you all set up for this best-of-7 series between the Nashville Predators and the Colorado Avalanche. He's got the charts that you need to see and the numbers you need to know. You can find us working on theforecheck.com, and you can check him out on Twitter at Brian Baston. Brian, take it away.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. What's up, Renegades? It's Brian Baston of On the Forecheck and the Renegades of Puck here at the Renegades Analytics Desk. And the season is over. After 82 games, this weird, very fun season has come to a conclusion. And so now it's time to look ahead at the playoffs. And I don't think there's a team in the league that's facing maybe a harder challenge or an uphill climb like the Nashville Predators in the playoffs. They managed to beat the second healthiest team in the league as far as man games lost due to injuries this season. And unfortunately, though, that luck, came crumbling down at the worst possible moment in the worst possible way with the loss of UC Saros, who could be out 2 to 3 more weeks, unfortunately. But let's move ahead. Let's look at these two teams. Let's look at how Nashville and Colorado compare. Obviously, we know that Colorado is very, very good. There's no getting around that. But weirder things can happen. In fact, they did happen. 2017, So let's break down, let's look at the previews, and let's look at some fancy stats and some analytics for these two teams. Let's start off with what these teams are good at, and we're going to use my favorite resource, one of my favorite resources, that is evolvinghockey.com. These guys do amazing work. They have been for many years. So if you get a chance to go check them out, please do, because those guys do amazing work. So let's break down the two teams. First, let's look at their goal scoring capacity over the season. Now, all these stats are going to be at 5-on-5, which for teams that aren't the Predators is where they spend most of their game. But we're going to look at 5-on-5 stats and see the difference. So this is just pure goals for per 60. Nothing fancy about that. It's just normalizing it for how much time they've had at 5-on-5. This season, the Colorado Avalanche averaged 3.05 goals for per 60 minutes, which is good for fourth in the NHL. Nashville, on the other hand, is more middle of the road. They average 2.6 goals per 60 minutes, and that's good for just 16th. So very middle of the pack by definition. Let's look now at shot share and offensive puck possession. There's one little fun shortcut that I always encourage people to get when you're getting into stats is you may hear the word Corsi, roll your eyes, things like that. All that is shot attempts. That's goals, shots on goal, misses, blocks, all of that. And basically the idea is that you can use it to kind of measure offensive possession because you can't shoot the puck unless you have it. This season, the Colorado Avalanche averaged just over 63 shot attempts per 60 minutes. Again, good for fourth in the NHL. And Nashville, again, sticking to a script, 54.4 shot attempts per 60 minutes, which is good again for 16th in the NHL. Now let's look at shot quality or expected goals for. Basically, what do they average in a game? With their shooting quality shots, is that translating to actual goals? So the Avs, as I said, they average about 3.05 goals per 60 minutes. And as far as expected goals, they're at 2.6, which is about 13th, which is surprisingly average for the Colorado Avalanche. Nashville, on the other hand, despite one of the main things that John Hines wanted to bring into there was increasing shot quality, but they did sit at 24th in the league with 2.3 expected goals for. So Colorado is not just scoring a lot of goals, but they're creating that quality. Now, again, their quality creations, 13th, is right there middle of the pack, but it is much better than Nashville's. And for the last segment I want to look at is their defense, how well these two teams limiting quality shots against. And that's, again, expected goals, but this is just expected goals against. Now, the Avalanche sit at 2.3 expected goals against per 60, which is actually surprisingly great. Good for sixth in the league, whereas Nashville is just barely behind the Colorado Avalanche in terms of defense at 2.33, just a 0.03 of a point behind them, good for seventh in the NHL. And if you're wondering why, a Colorado, an offensive team that you usually think of and how good they are, why are they so good defensively? Well, one of the answers you might already know, but the other might actually surprise you. So next, let's go ahead and look into the players. And you've heard a lot about the Colorado Avalanche, but I want to look at, again, being the fancy stats guy I am, I want to use something that Evolving Hockey has developed called goals above replacement. Basically what they do is they want to isolate the impact of that player, independent of his teammates. So basically these rankings are supposed to weight how well they do at certain aspects of the game, weights it by position, and then looks at that isolated impact. So in the top 50 for goals above replacement, again, this is just basically what does this player add compared to a replacement AHL level player. For the Colorado Avalanche have 5 players in the top 50 for goals above replacement. Mikko Rantanen actually leads them all, sitting at 4th in the league in goals above replacement. Cale Makar sits at 8th. Nazem Kadri sits at 15th. And Devin Tays, somebody that you really don't hear a ton about when you talk about a Colorado defenseman, sits at 19th. And of course, analytics favorite Valeri Nichushkin sits at 34th. 5 players for the Colorado Avalanche. As for the Preds, Philip Forsberg, he sits at 9th place. Roman Josi at 21st and Matt Duchene at 32nd. So they do have 5 players in the top 50. Nashville has just 3. And that would make sense considering the star power. However, Tays definitely surprised me as far as being ranked that high in this. So it'll be interesting to see the star power. Will Nashville be able to compete with Colorado when Forsberg, Josi, and Duchene aren't on the ice? That's going to be a big job, and you're going to need guys like the guys on the herd line to stop them. Now, we've talked about a few different things. We've talked about how they've done on, both teams have done on the season. We talked about the individual players that are scoring very well. Next, we've got the last month, and that's the last thing I want to talk about, is how have these two teams done in the last month leading up to this playoff starting in May. Now, in the last month, in the month of April, Nashville is 6-6-3. They sit at a 51% shot attempt share at 5-on-5, which is 14th in the NHL. Just a square 50% expected goal share, which is, again, 16th, right in the middle. And in the last month, the Predators have been shooting at 7.4 shooting percentage, which is 28th in the NHL over the last time. Now, to compare, in the season, they were shooting 8.8%, which was 10th in the NHL. As for Colorado, they did slip a little bit towards the end of the season, but not by much. In the last month, they went 8-5-1. Again, similar to Nashville, 50.4 shot attempt share, 15th. 48.6% expected goal percentage, 23rd. So both of those worse than the Nashville Predators in the last month. But they have been shooting at 11%, which is kind of insane that they only managed 8 wins when they were shooting that hot. That's good. That 11% is good for the 6th in the league over the last month. But on the season, they shoot a more regular 8.9%, just barely above the Nashville Predators at 9th over the season. So I've given you some things to look at. I've looked at what exactly is the Colorado Avalanche good at doing. Obviously, goal scoring. They control the puck. They're taking a ton of shots. They are putting a lot of pressure on opposing goaltending. And even though that their expected goals are right there middle of the road, they are finishing and they are getting those goals. Nashville, on the other hand, the only thing that they really stand out strong against the Colorado Avalanche is their defense, which is about equal to what the Colorado Avalanche have done this season. So obviously, Nashville is going to have to play Nashville Predators hockey. They cannot try to run and gun like the Colorado Avalanche. They've got guys who are dangerous with the puck. There's Cale Makar, there's Jonathan Toews, there's our good friend Sammy Girard. Those guys can move the puck, and they're going to have 1 or 2 great players on every line that come out there. So Nashville is going to have to play their matchups extremely well, and they're going to have to use that physicality to turn the tide of the game and make Colorado play Nashville hockey, not Avalanche hockey.
You can check out his work at ontheforecheck.com. He's got the charts that you need to see and the numbers you need to know. And I sure do appreciate Brian Baston jumping in the trenches and running the Renegade Analytics Desk, getting us all set up for the Nashville Predators versus the Colorado Avalanche in round 1 of the Western Conference playoffs. Now listen, before we head on out, I want to tell you about a sponsor that's going to help us out throughout the first round of the playoffs and beyond, Renegades. Have you gotten a look at the start times for the first round? The Preds drop the puck on Tuesday at 8:30 Central Time, Thursday at 8:30 Central Time, on Monday at 8:30 Central Time. Well, you're going to need some help, and the ultimate one, before we throw it over to him, is here to help you out. And Blessed Day Coffee is also going to be a huge part of that. Check out Banner's Blonde Roast or Ultimate Espresso and go to blesseddaycoffee.com. I've got the website up on the screen right now. And check out this deal, Renegades of Puck. Late puck drops, no problem. 10% off, code FANGS2022. Again, that's on the screen right now. Make sure you enter that when you're placing your order to get 10% off. We sure do thank Blessed Day Coffee for helping us here in the bunker and helping the Renegades of Puck with these late puck drops, because after all, playoff madness is certainly going to need a little bit of assistance. So thank you so much, Stick Taps Love and Respect, to Blessed Day Coffee, and also Stick Taps Love and Respect to Banner, Courtney, and the Ultimate One. Speaking of the Ultimate One, playoff madness is well within his mask. So let's turn it over to him and let the Ultimate One get you all fired up for Game 1 of this best-of-7 playoff series between the Nashville Predators and the Colorado Avalanche. Renegades, it's that time of year. We're going to be around the clock here in the bunker, so I appreciate each and every one of you and any support you can lend. Stick Taps, love and respect. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier.
You know, if there's one thing I've learned about this city since moving here in '92, it's that this city loves a good comeback story. We write our songs about it. We tell our stories about it. We base our franchises on it. We run our city on it. There's countless times that this city has been the underdog. We were underwater in 2010. Nobody cared, but we strapped our boots on as a city, laced it all up tight, and we survived as the underdog. They said hockey wouldn't work in the South. We almost lost the team. But we did it again. We rallied as a community. We saved this franchise. And 10 years later, we were at the pinnacle. In our grasp. Proving that the underdog, Southern hockey, can work. Hell, almost every country music song written in this city is the comeback story of the person who lost it all and came back to win with grace and dignity. You see, everybody's already counting us out, and we've been counted out before. We're real familiar with being counted out. Once again, we are the underdog. Once again, we have to prove ourselves to a nation, to 2 nations, to an entire world. But it's the second season. All slates are wiped clean. And as long as you're in, you have a chance. This city loves a comeback story. And Nashville, now's our time to write another beautiful comeback story. Welcome to the playoffs.